you have it up at 5. Yeah, it's up there. Mr. Falsbaugh, would you lead us in the civility statement, please?
I surely will. On my glasses. When conducting the district's business, we will strive to communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Falsbaugh. Okay, next we have 5A, public comments, recognitions, and reports. Please submit a request to speak to the board trustees. Board located.
I have contributed quite a bit of my life and energy to this school district. I am also a member of the Acton Town Council. I've been on the council for, I think it's 8 years. I was elected. The reason I'm here tonight is some of you may know me and some of you don't know me. My husband was terminally ill, and so he passed away 2 years ago, and my son also passed away. So I haven't had time to be involved at the school district, and my oldest son, Mark, and his family, my 2 grandkids, moved to Mammoth. I was very involved when my grandkids were here. I was the treasurer for ASMO for a number of years. I worked with Sandy Madsen and all of the other great volunteers who created ASMO. I decided that I was going to come and get more educated about what was going on with the school board and the district. And so 2 weeks ago I was here at the meeting. I didn't speak. I wanted to get educated. I still have some questions, and if you can answer my questions, I just heard what Ms. Kelly said, that they won't be answered tonight, but I really would like an explanation. I agree wholeheartedly with Tracy. We haven't talked about it, but she just said everything that I was basically going to say about Gaggle. I do not agree with that at all. I also do not agree with the presentation that was done 2 weeks ago to collect data on where our students have moved that are no longer in our district. And I spent the last 2 weeks calling my past clients. I was a real estate broker here for many years, had an office with 10 agents. So I know a lot of people in this community and Aqua Dulce. I spent the last 2 weeks making phone calls. I have pages and pages of notes of why they're gone. And I think we can figure out why our students have left without spending a consultant to do data research. I object. I think that a lot of the residents who are probably in my age group, I am a senior citizen now, and I've called a bunch of them. And I said, what do you know about the school district? They know nothing. And a lot of our community members know nothing because we lost the Country Journal. I was a big advocate of the Country Journal because it told everybody in our 2 communities what was going on. So I find that people are kind of lost. And yet I know you guys are going to say, well, they can go to the web page and that kind of thing. I couldn't find the agenda today before I came. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but there wasn't any here. The last time I came 3 years ago, there was agendas that we could read, and I know they'll be there. I believe that people that are on the Zoom meeting should be allowed to speak, so I assume that's what you're just talking about now. A lot of parents are at home, or they're doing other things at night to make sure their kids are getting their homework done and everything else that they have to do. So that's why they're not here. And it's not lovely to come out to a meeting at 7:30 at night. I attend a lot of them during the week and the month for the town council. And we're on tons of meetings every week. I'm here because I want to make sure that the image of this school district changes, because it's very negative from everybody that I've talked to right now. That's darn sad. And I've got hundreds and hundreds of hours invested, me personally, The first computers that were bought for the junior high school were bought by 2 fundraisers that the Acton-Agua Dulce Brokers Association created, which were called Chili Fiestas. That $15,000, I remember how hard we worked to raise that money, or the kids weren't going to have computers. So I'm sorry if I sound a little agitated or defensive. I'm not. I want to help now that I've kind of got my feet back on the ground. I do spend 20 to 30 hours a week working on the Acton Town Council, but I'm sure that there's things that I can do in this community to rally the troops. I'm good at that. I think my other problem is that I know if this school district does not succeed and we get taken over for any dumb reason, whatever happens, our property values are going to go like this. I owned an office for 30 years. I get it. So I have that motivation also. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker.
Our next speaker, Mr. Thibault.
Matthew Thibault, tell them when to start.
Sorry, sir. Okay, you ready?
2 weeks ago, Mr. Sparks posed the question at this meeting, what is our brand? What are we known for? I had a whole thing written up, and I actually had 2 subjects I was going to talk about tonight, and I didn't know which one. And now I've changed my mind altogether. What I want to talk about is I quit. I'm so fed up with this school district. I'm sorry, Ms. Walter, this is not what you want to hear, Mr. Sparks, Ms. Van Ornum, Mr. Falsgraf, this is not what you want. I am so fed up with this school district, I can care less. I hope we go bankrupt. We deserve it. We've never been an independent school district. You do whatever LAUSD does or Sacramento says. Every policy, procedure, rule you get from the state, instead of following it, you need to look at it and examine it and look for the loopholes that allow you to modify it to suit our community. You've never done that. Nobody on the school board has ever had the backbone to do anything different from what all the other schools are doing. Authoritarianism, we bring in superintendents and principals from big cities that have 5,000 students that don't even know where Agua Dulce is, and they bring all their authoritarian big city left-wing policies with them, and instead of listening to the parents in this community, you do whatever they say, like you work for them, and like we work for them. I don't know you, sir. I don't know where you come from. I'm talking about the past. I spoke at this school board probably a dozen times. Nobody's ever listened to me. Nobody ever cared what I said. I'm done. I'm through with this school. I will never vote for any bonding for this school. I will never vote for anything that benefits this school. I'm done. I will support my child until he finishes. I will support the good teachers we have. We have great teachers. Unfortunately, we don't have a great school district. And it's your fault. Yours, past superintendents. The only time we've ever been independent was when our school board decided to break the law and have 17 charter schools under our belt. Illegally, you knew it, the state superintendent warned us about it, and you did it anyhow because that was the only independence you've ever felt, was to try to get illegal money. I'm done. I'm finished with the school district. You don't care what I say anyhow, but know this, I will never again support this school district. I will support my son. I can't wait to get out of here. I cannot wait to be done with. And I'm sick of the parents too. You know how many, Ms. Walter said it, parents are livid out there about the school district, but none of them are here to tell you. I'm on web pages with parents, they're livid at the decisions you make, but they don't show up to tell you. I'm done with the parents in this community. I'm not a speaker for them. You mistreated my kids, I'll tell you that, both of them, terribly. And I'm done, so I am done. Good night.
Any recommendations and reports?
Before we move into that, sorry, President Jensen, I'm not sure if we have any speakers that have shown interest to speak virtually. They'll join us in Zoom. And Alex is saying no at this time. Thank you, Alex, for that.
Thank you.
I apologize.
No, thank you. Okay, so, recommendations and reports. Golden Spotlight.
Yes. So Golden Spotlight, to continue our tradition that we started on September 9th. This evening, I'd like to go ahead and acknowledge and commend participants and community members that have supported High Desert Middle School. The Acton Town Council and the Acton Agua Dulce community have been working hard over the past few years to ensure that High Desert Middle School students have a safe path to and from school. Their efforts have included and paved the path to the library, the addition of a crossing guard, and the addition of the trees lining Crown Valley Road, just to name a few of the projects that they've worked on. High Desert students and staff members, along with district staff and school board, would like to thank these amazing community and school members for their foresight and over-the-top efforts to ensure High Desert Hawks now have a clean path to school and from school each day. Thank you to the amazing group of volunteers who saw a need to organize a group and spend half of their Saturday cleaning up dirt along Antelope Woods Road, adding trash cans to keep the area clean for the future, and extend their cleanup efforts to include the freeway on-ramp and off-ramp that students walk past daily. For our High Desert students, it made a big difference to have a clean path to walk on for their first day of school. What student would not like to have a clean and safe path, right? So what a great welcome back to full person instruction. We would also like to thank Acton Ace Hardware for the donation of trash cans and the cleanup supplies. They are huge supporters of our community and our school, High Desert. On behalf of the High Desert students and staff and the district as a whole, we would like to extend a big thank you to all of the community members involved in this project prior to the start of the school year. This evening, we are thrilled to commend and spotlight, and so bear with me, and I would like to read off a few names. Cadence Messerly, a High Desert student and ASB member. Levi Klaus, student at High Desert. Autumn Klaus, student at High Desert and ASB member. Miss Adina Klaus, parent and teacher at Meadowlark. Tammy Necessary, who could not be here this evening. She's a grandparent of High Desert students and a community member, and she took the lead in the cleanup efforts prior to the school year. In addition, community cleanup groups, Tom Talan, Terry James, Ken Monson, Jerry Sloan, Francisco, I don't have your last name, so I do apologize, Mr. Francisco, and John Cisco. Thank you to everybody who participated to make sure that our walkway for our students to and from school, High Desert, was clean and safe. I do believe we have Ms. Klaus here in person, so in keeping with the
6A, you got a representative, Mr. Sparks. Good evening, Mr. Sparks.
Oh, Sheldon Fox. Nice to meet you guys. Nice to see you guys again. Hi guys, how are you? It's been a while. A lot has transpired over the last couple of weeks, to say the least. First, I want to kind of cover the amazing and the good. This position has given me a different perspective. A lot of times I've been just working at Vasquez and solely focused on Vasquez. This position has given me an opportunity to have many conversations and be a part of many different meetings. And so it's been very enlightening to see how hard and how dedicated a lot of the staff are on campuses. They're amazing. They work very tremendously hard. Right now we're understaffed, and a lot of teachers, a lot of administrators, a lot of just different people are taking on a lot of different roles. And so they do it not because of anything money, they do it because they care for kids. They do it because if they don't do it, who is going to do it? And so it's been a lot, really cool to see staffs pulling together. We've had an absence of administrators. And teachers are being asked to do different roles and different things that we're not accustomed to. From my perspective, we're implementing WASC. Usually an administrator guides that meeting. They give our directions. Our leadership team at Vasquez is doing that. Teachers are coming together on their own time on a Wednesday, and we're implementing the recommendations of WASC. So it's just another example. I'm not tooting their horn, but I'm saying they're working hard. They don't have to do that. Nobody else is going to do that. One of the recommendations of WASC was with all the high turnover of principals, teachers are going to have to do that. That's the role, because there's not longevity here. And so it's been amazing to see, in the absence of some administrators, having staff to step up. Even Meadowlark and High Desert, Mrs. Van Orn was sick, and that staff didn't fall apart at all. That staff did nothing but continue to serve and give. And again, they weren't paid extra, they didn't demand extra. They do it because that's what they do, that's what teachers do. They give from their heart. It's not about the money, it's about the heart, about what we do as a living. It's about who we work with and who we serve. Sports is going full board. High desert, volleyball, and cross country are going. It's good to see young kids back out on the field. And so I'm really encouraged that Mrs. Snyder, Don Snyder is doing a fantastic job. So is Mrs. Van Orden. Thank you for keeping that program afloat. Thank you for making it a priority. A lot of people in the community appreciate that. I hear fantastic things about it. So whatever you guys are doing, you're doing it well. And so I just wanted to give you a shout out. Vasquez, we have volleyball going, cross country, we have football, we have basketball getting ready to start up, and we have soccer getting ready to go. We hired a fantastic basketball coach. There were some people in this room who were part of that decision. I think you guys are going to like him very much. And so there's a lot of life returning back to campus, a lot of normalcy. But in that normalcy, we're also seeing the ugly. Last week was a tough week, to be honest with you. It was a tough week to be an athletic director. Having to cancel a homecoming game, that is not what anybody wants to do. And let me just say, for the record, Ada thinks COVID sucks. And so I don't mean that harshly. I'm just saying it has been really difficult with that. We've canceled, that'll be our third football game that we've canceled. We've had to cancel 2 volleyball games, and now we have to cancel and quarantine the JV program as well. I don't know if that's going to change for the rest of the year. We're going to get ready to go into basketball season indoors. I just don't know if we're going to, I think we're going to continue to see the same results that we have been. I know a lot of people are anti-vax, I get that. However, if we're not going to get the vaccine, adults have to understand then that they're making the choices, and they can't blame staff, they can't blame nurses, they can't blame ASB for canceling things that we have no control over. And so I just wanted to get that out there, that it has been a very difficult week for some athletics and some staff. Community members, you see their frustration, right? We deal with that every day. Talk to ASB, see the horrible emails that we've been getting. And again, I'm not sitting here saying woe is teachers, but there's a lot of frustration out there. It's also bleeding over to the teachers as well. Over the last 3 years, we've been cutting positions. The job description stays the same. The amount of work remains the same. There's a certain amount of energy that needs to be going in to run a school district. And so when we're cutting staff and we're asking staff to continue to take on a greater role, they're getting stressed, they're getting frustrated. They're just giving you a heads up on that. There's a lot of people who are frustrated, and staff is no different. We're missing 17 positions in our district. If you look at EdJoin, we have 17 listings. 2 of those are for a coach, so I'll give them 15. But we're shortchanged, we're short-staffed. When it comes to subs, that is creating a really big issue amongst ADA members. ADA members don't like when students aren't in class. When we have a teacher who is absent and we only have 2 or 3 subs to cover the whole entire district, that becomes a problem. Staff won't let students just sit outside. Teachers have been carrying them and trying to solve that problem amongst ourselves. We continue during our prep periods, we are covering 1 period of that staff member being missing. Again, I don't know how much longer we can continue to do that. Our roles are being asked to do is being stretched a lot. And so this is just another example of us picking up that load and carrying it. Not because the $32 that we get to do that is nothing. A prep period is way more valuable than a little extra cash for covering a period. And so I'd ask and I would recommend that you maybe think about raising that wage for substitute teachers. If you look at the Hart District, if you look at the Palmdale District, they're making $250 per day. You go down to Torrance, you go down to LA, they're making $185 a day. And so what happens is we get these substitutes that say, yes, I'll work at Vasquez because I have nothing else going on. And then somebody calls from a bigger district and says, hey, we got a job for you. Can you come today? They cancel on Acton on Dulce and they go to those other schools because they can make more money. And again, this is not Ada asking for more money. I'm just asking you to help us pick up the load. Teachers are getting stressed. There's a lot of angst in the community, and we are on the front lines and we are feeling it the most. I appreciate you guys so very much. Mrs. Shaw, I appreciate what you've done over the last couple of weeks. You've listened to athletics, you've listened to ASB, you've listened to Meadowlark, you've listened to Vasquez, you've listened, and you've taken action on a lot of different things. And so I just want you to, I always say, don't tell us, show us. And so I see that the district is trying. And so I understand that. And I just want to say thank you guys very much. Appreciate everything you guys are doing. And I hope you have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have CSCA. We have Mr. Ortiz. And we have our student representative tonight, Haley Rudd. Haley, thanks for being here tonight. This is your first board meeting. So do you have some comments for us this evening?
Just an introduction. Well, my name is Haley Rudd. I'm a 11th grade student at Aadusd High School, and I've been attending Vasquez since 9th grade. Just through a homeschool program. I participate in 3 sports: cross country, basketball, and softball. And I'm grateful for the opportunity I have to be the student representative, to just learn more about the district, and that I want to do my best to just help in any way I can.
Welcome, Haley. We appreciate you being here.
If I could add a comment, thank you, President Jensen. So I had the privilege to meet Ms. Rudd this past Wednesday at Vasquez, and as you see here, she's quite articulate, sincere, and she's definitely a hard worker. She's well in strategic initiatives 1 through 4. I'll start with strategic items, student achievement 1.0. As you see in the agenda this evening, we do have a special presentation from potential AVID partners. I know that AVID did partner with our district back in 2004. Just to share with the community, AVID once again stands for Achievement via Individual Determination. It is a college readiness system which prepares academically regularly scheduled elective classes during the school at the secondary level, as well as at the middle school and elementary level. At the elementary level, the AVID strategies are embedded throughout the instructional day in the self-contained classrooms. The curriculum is based on writing and critical thinking, reading, inquiry, and collaborative learning strategies. AVID's mission is to close the achievement gap for all students by preparing students for college readiness and success in a global society. It helps support rigorous curriculum leading down the path of college preparatory, increasing enrollment in four-year colleges, and educating our students to be responsible participants and leaders in our community. And more to come with our AVID presentation this evening, per the agenda. The next strategic item, effective instruction and leadership 2.0. Thank you to our school site staff, teachers, parents, and students for your input when it came to the Vasquez High School Principal Stakeholder Survey. The survey responses helped us build a profile and characteristics to support the recruitment of the ideal candidate for Vasquez High. Per the survey results, the top 5 leadership qualities that the principal of Vasquez High School should possess: good communicator, proactive, empowering teachers and staff, having high expectations for students, teachers, staff, and self, and of course, leadership experience, preferably secondary. During the coming weeks, we will review candidate applications. Thank you, Ms. Shaw, for the incredible work you do. Conduct interviews, identify the best fit for Vasquez High School, as well as for the district as a whole. I'm truly confident that together, working as a team, students, parents, teachers, staff, administration, we could build on the excellent foundation that is Vasquez High School. At this time, I'd like to thank the interim principal of Vasquez High School, Dr. Paula Chamberlain. She brings to this position many years of high school teaching experience, as well as experience as an elementary principal, and most recently as a high school principal. Great fortune to bring her out of retirement, lucky us. Dr. Chamberlain has a strong dedication to student achievement, coupled with an emphasis on social emotional learning for our students. Dr. Chamberlain, with my interactions with her and meeting her at the office and walking Vasquez High School, she's been visiting classrooms frequently, working with the teachers to support learning opportunities for students and getting to know the students and parent community. So thank you, Dr. Chamberlain. The next item, community engagement, number 3 that you see on the slide. I'd like to thank Vasquez High School PTSO for the September 13th invitation to their kickoff meeting for the new school year. Introductions were made by President Ms. Martin, Secretary Ms. Ames, Treasurer Ms. Jewett, and dedicated PTSO members. In addition, thank you for having me to introduce myself or reintroduce myself formally to PTSO and for me to share my onboarding plan with the group collectively that morning. It was perfect timing as we presented Dr. Paula Chamberlain to PTSO that morning as well. So thank you, Vasquez PTSO. The next item, student safety and connectedness. Number 4 on your screen. Mr. Sparks mentioned it's a very difficult decision to cancel a homecoming game, especially when it rallies the community and really bridges the ties that we have here in Acton and Agua Dulce. After careful thought and thorough review of youth sports COVID exposure protocols, a difficult decision was made to reschedule the 2021 homecoming game, as we know. We plan to reschedule the game as soon as possible while following CDC considerations to protect players, families, and our community. We know this interruption was stressful to many, and we recognize that participation in activities such as the homecoming game is a healthy way to cope with the stress that we're all enduring as a community. Ultimately, the health and safety of our athletes, students, and staff remain our highest priority. I'd like to personally thank the handful of our football athletes, students, for reaching out to me directly through email last Friday. They expressed their disappointment about the game being rescheduled through positive communication, while realizing the cancellation was in the best interest for all. I have to be honest to say, our students who reached out were very eloquent, respectful, and very thoughtful in the way they expressed their frustration, and I'd like to publicly thank them for their maturity and their resolve. The homecoming dance went on as scheduled, and you see a couple of pictures there, and we have a few more. Thank you, Dr. Chamberlain, for sending that along to me. The dance went on scheduled and was quite successful. I would like to publicly thank Ms. Alexa Lepp, ASB advisor, our ASB students, and Dr. Chamberlain for their support. Like I said, there are a few photos up there on the screen that we'd like to share with our community. As of this past Monday, ASB decided to put on the Homecoming 2.0. This event would essentially be another semi-formal event to hopefully allow those students who could not attend the dance this past Saturday. ASB is deciding on themes and are hoping to have it after the last football game on October 23rd. Once again, thank you ASB, Ms. Lepp, and your students for their efforts and their hard work. That concludes my superintendent's report for this evening.
Thank you.
And yes, I have a COVID-19 report. Thank you, Ms. Jensen. Of course you do. So data pulled from LA County Department of Public Health will be the data that I will share with you this evening. The number of new cases as reported to LA County Department of Public Health for September 19th is 1,322 new cases. We have seen a decrease in new cases since my last update, where I reported out 1,540 new cases, again, reported by LA County Department of Public Health back on September 6th. The testing positivity rate, a 7-day average for the week of September 12th, comes in at 1.73% compared to the week of August 30th, which reported at 1.98%. So again, we're seeing a steady decline. The percentage of individuals testing with a diagnostic COVID test since the week of September 12th comes in at roughly 122,000 compared to August 30th, coming in at 147,000. Again, like I mentioned on September 9th, I'd like to reiterate to our students, staff, parents, and to our community the importance of a self-check at home prior to students arriving on campus. Please look for symptoms such as cough, fever, and shortness of breath. If you believe your child may be experiencing these symptoms, please contact your school site for additional guidance and information. That concludes my COVID report. Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have any submissions this evening?
There are no submissions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're on to board comments. Mr. Paulsbrough.
Thank you. I have an item that I asked to be on the agenda tonight, so I'll be lengthy on that. Again, everyone that comes in here, I know masks suck. I know that nobody wants to wear them. I know that some people protest. I know that there are people both ways. But when you come in here, please keep your mask on. I appreciate those of you that do. If you're associated with the school district as a student or employee, please, if there's any money in the budget, it should be your first thing to make sure that anyone that comes in here has a mask that fits them at all times. Thank you. Are there masks back there for the public that, so anybody that comes in here, if your mask not fitting is not a reason not to be here. If those masks are not there, let me know personally. Pam,
Yes.
here we go. Pam is the kind of person that will drive in your driveway and raise a cloud of dust if she has an issue with your
That's
contract. I very much appreciate that. Pam and I sometimes have conversations outside the 76 station where they're afraid that we're going to set a spark that's going to ignite
That's true
tanks.
too.
Pam, I don't need affirmation.
I need to give it to you,
You
buddy.
know what? You'll replace me up here a year and a half
Oh, no,
from now.
no, no.
Yeah, you will.
No, I'm on the top.
I've already campaigned for you. Next, I just started.
Town
So,
council. That's my heart.
Okay, I have my 3 minutes. At the end of the day,
Well, you call my
Pam,
name. I'm
Pam,
yours, Kenny.
if it weren't for you on the Acton Town Council, there would be a train going through my backyard right now.
That's true.
We would have air particulates, God knows what, cyanide and everything from the old mine. My kids would be breathing that. I appreciate the work you do on the Acton Town Council. I very much appreciate that you'll come forward in here and tell us flat out, the real estate market in this town depends on and I appreciate being told that by you right to my face rather than mining and all that going on in the background. So I very much appreciate that you stand here and tell us what you feel. You're one of the most respected members of our community. Brianna, your turn.
Thank you. I like to always start with giving some kudos to our staff members. Today, I would like to throw a big thumbs up to our Vasquez Athletic Director, Mr. Sparks, and to our ASB, and to our ASB students, the entire Vasquez staff. What they went through last week is heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for families, it's heartbreaking for students, those students, and not the football players that want to play out there. I feel for you. My son was one of the kids that didn't get to play last year, so I understand how that feels as a parent, to want to watch your son play, to want to watch your child do what they do on that field, and then getting that notice the day of that they can't. So I feel you and my heart goes out to you. My heart also goes out to every single child that was looking forward to that game. You guys took the brunt of it. ASB staff, coaching staff, Mr. Sparks, you guys took the brunt of all of those feelings. And I just want to let you know, we appreciate you, and I apologize that you were in, and COVID's not my fault, but I still feel for you, and I apologize that you guys are in that position. And I thank you for bearing that for all of us. You guys did an amazing job with a terrible situation, and it's going to go on, and there is a positive side. Like Mr. Sahakian said, we are going to move on, and we are going to get the game played, and we are going to get Homecoming 2.0, and it is going to move in a positive direction, and thank you all for planning that as well. My second thing, Megan, I'm so excited. I just started here on the board, so I have not sat at this table with a student. I'm so excited for you to be here. Thank you for giving up your evening, and I know that there's going to be preparations and there's more time. You're very busy girls, so there's going to be more time that you're going to have to give up of your time. And as a teenager, that's pretty huge. So awesome to have you here. Thank you for being here. Tracy Costin, again, thank you for standing up and sharing your feelings. I appreciate you. I appreciate the input that you give to the board. Pam, I first met you when you were volunteering, and your ASMO and your hours and hours, hundreds of hours of hard work. I appreciated you then. I appreciate you now. I appreciate you putting all of that time and effort together to not just come to us with a complaint, but come to us with a, here's the backup of why I am making the statements that I'm making, and here's where I think we can go with it. I appreciate that so much. So thank you for all that you've done, and thank you for all of your work in our community as a whole. We appreciate you. I did see the cleanup effort that you spotlighted. We did see that all over Facebook. Those kids, those families, and it has been an ongoing thing with Tammy Necessary and that whole group. It's the Acton Cleanup group. So huge thank you, you guys. I was able to make it out one day, and it's, you find some funky things out there, and they just continue to go and go and go and fill up truckloads of trash, and I love that they thought of our school. And it does get really nasty out there, and like all of that freeway trash blowing in and all that. They did a great job, and I appreciate that they thought of our school and our students before they, and made that plan. So thank you to the cleanup crew. Mr. Sparks, and your comments on ADA. You said something about, I'm not trying to toot their horn. I want to tell you, if your teachers, if your colleagues, if the people that you are representing as the ADA president are going above and beyond, and they're doing, I want you to toot their horn loud. They should get that recognition. So thank you for letting us know, and thank you for tooting those horns, because they deserve it. Thank you to Mrs. Van Ornum and to Mr. Sparks for keeping our high desert sports. The junior high that I work at, we had to cancel volleyball. A lot of times we hear about how our school isn't doing this. Everybody else is doing this, but our school can't do it. Well, guess what? Other schools had to cancel volleyball because they couldn't do the testing. There wasn't money in other districts. There wasn't time. They couldn't get the logistics, so they canceled volleyball or they pushed it to the end of the year. Huge congratulations to you guys for figuring out how to keep our kids playing volleyball at the junior high, because not every district did that. So thank you. I'm sure that you saw the lack of opponents on the list. Thank you for keeping that for our students. That's huge. The staffing and the subs. I'm going to say it is being discussed. It is being worked on, and I wouldn't say that if that wasn't true. The district office has heard, they know, and that isn't, it is something across everywhere. It is in every school, everywhere. Everybody is hurting. So yes, we do need to get competitive, and your concerns have been heard, and I promise that it is being worked on and it is being discussed. And the district hears you. Dr. Sahakian is on it, and he's got all kinds of great plans, so he's going to take care of that. My last thing is Avid. I have been able to get familiar with Avid, and I have seen Avid in action, and that is exciting to me. I'm so excited to see that on the board agenda, and I'm excited to see that you're bringing that back into our school. That's an exciting, positive movement for our district, so thank you for that.
Good evening, everyone. I'll start by saying welcome, Ms. Rudd. It's nice to have you here as part of our environment. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Tebow's comments. I'm sorry that you are unhappy with this district, and I'm sorry that you no longer want to help be part of making change here. I understand your frustration, a lot of the stuff you said. I personally have felt myself. So again, if you leave, if you ever want to come back, you're always welcome here. COVID's tough. COVID's tough for everybody. It's not fun. I hate wearing this mask more than probably most. I try not to wear it as much as possible. That being said, I also respect the people around me that feel unsafe and feel more comfortable having the mask on. So I try to walk the line and make sure that people feel comfortable when they're in my presence. And if I have to wear, if that means I have to wear a mask, that means I have to wear a mask. I want people to feel comfortable. It's a difficult time in the schools, with the students getting sick and some kids having to go home because they were next to Johnny for too long, and now he has to sit out for 10 days along with little Johnny. And the whole thing's a mess, but we have to get through it. We have to keep our sanity, and we have to work through it one case at a time. It's tough on our teachers that are getting sick, our administrators that get sick. Across the board, it's a tough scenario for everyone involved. And I want people to know that we hear your concerns. We hear the community's concerns. We hear the community's outrage. We hear the community's discontent with the way things are maybe getting handled at times. But at the end of the day, as much as people in Acton and Agua Dulce don't want to hear it, we do have to conform with certain rules and regulations. I personally am not going to put myself in legal jeopardy to try to rewrite some law or mandate the state of California wrote. People that write those are much smarter than I am and make a lot more money than I do. So I'm going to follow the writing as it is, and like it or not, most of it I do not like. I live here, that's the rules I'm going to abide by. Ms. Pam Walters, thank you so much for being in our community. You've been around for a long time, since I can remember. Your work on the town council is not been unnoticed. I agree with you. I do feel like maybe the community doesn't understand what goes on inside this office. Part of that is because we haven't had people in here for almost a year and a half up until the last meeting. Sometimes the Zoom calls don't always come across in the best way. Maybe connections are bad, or maybe they don't hear us speak, or they don't hear the superintendent. I want to get a better reputation for this district out there. I want parents and the community to believe in this district again. We have a superintendent now that is ambitious. Regardless of where he comes from, whether it's a small town or a big town, he has great ideas, he has energy, and he has drive. He's been here all of, what, 7, 8 weeks? Maybe, something like that?
Sounds about right.
It's going to take time for him to implement and make the changes for the community to see the results of what he's done. It's not going to happen overnight, people. It's just not going to. It's going to take some time. I can assure you he's working day and night trying to make this school district and our schools better. Mr. Sparks, I hear your feelings about being understaffed. I sympathize with you guys having to do extra work. I sympathize with not being able to get enough substitute teachers in our classrooms or in our schools. As Brianna said, we are working on it. We are aware of it. Mr. Sahakian is aware of it. And just know that hopefully we can get more competitive. And as she said, it's not just an Acton Agua Dulce issue, it's statewide. There's a shortage across the board. So I ask for some patience. I ask for some just deep breaths when we get frustrated and we're tired and we're worn down and we're beat down. Understand that everybody on this board and in this district office wants to help you guys succeed. For the football concern with Gaggle, personally, I don't want any more overreach in my life. I'm not sure if there's a way to opt out of it. I haven't asked that question. Certainly will. But that being said, if not gaggle, then what do we do to find or figure out if we have kids that are having troubled times? In my life, I'm very involved in my kids' life, so I know what's going on. I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. I have no doubt. But not every student in our district has that same home life. So having experienced somebody in my life, my personal best friend, kill himself, had I known a little bit more before that happened, maybe there's something that could have been done. I don't know that having emails monitored is the right answer to that. I know there's been conversation about how the community polices themselves, and maybe to an extent we do, but I'm definitely not closed off to ideas of how we can help and better serve some students that might be in need. So I hear you, and again, I don't know that Google's the right, Gaggle's the right answer, but we do all, and we should all be aware that not every kid comes from a perfect home. And with that, thank you guys all for being here tonight, and I'll yield to my comment.
And ask a question if you don't understand what we adults are talking about. That's perfectly, and I'm going to be anxious to hear what the students at Vasquez and throughout our district have to say if you coordinate with Meadowlark and with high desert campuses, bring those messages forward as well. So thank you for taking on this role. I know that there's homework, cross-country, all things that you're doing, but it's much appreciated. Like Chad said, COVID's tough. Everybody knows it's tough. It's challenging, and it's things that we're having to deal with. But we elected to bring our kids back to campus and bring it because we knew that that was the best place for them, rather than to be in distance learning on computers. So with that becomes additional challenges. Dr. Sahakian and through the health department have told us, so you want to open? Here's what you got to do. And then they tell us we have to do all these things. And so as a small district, I think as a direct result of the teachers and the classified personnel and the staff, that's why we have the success that we do have. And there's a lot of things that are happening because of the hard work of our frontline employees. Not the employees so much here in this office, but the ones at each one of our campuses. So Ms. Van Orden, you're the administrator in residence here tonight. I want to make sure that you let your staff members know at High Desert that they're very much appreciated. This board does appreciate their hard work, and we hope that they continue to do that. Mr. Sparks, a representation of all the teachers within the district, because you can look at all of them, they're doing a great job. It was my privilege to be a part of the organization for 18 years, to do the job that you're doing now for 3+ years, and know that it's an important role that you take on, and one that you'll appreciate after you leave, not while you're in it. While you're in it, it's going to be very challenging, I can assure you, because you're representing 46+ employees in the district that are our key to success. They are our key to success. They're led by our team leader, Dr. Sahakian here, but the key is out there in the field. That's at the Vasquez, Meadowlark, and High Desert. So make sure there is no doubt in your mind or any staff member's mind that this board is not looking out for their well-being. We are doing everything that we can to meet the needs of our district. I don't give a hoot and holler and heck about all the big districts around us. I know that they have their problems, they're doing their things. We're doing what's in the best interest of our students and our community. We're small, we have the availability to do some things, but we still have to meet the same standards as everybody else. We can't deviate from that. And we won't deviate from that because our students are our priority. So whatever their success and safety demands, that's what we're going to do. I'm very pleased to be on a board where every member on this board is active. They're active in their interest, in the success and the endorsement of the students in this district. They ask questions of our team leader and he responds back. So there is no doubt that we're sitting back going, okay, yeah, okay, fine, just do this. We're not doing that. We're asking, I think one of the concerns that you expressed at your last comment is that maybe we're micromanaging. Well, I want to say, push back, we're not micromanaging. We're being actively engaged to support all of Aadusd, all of CSEA, all of the students in this thing, and we're putting it on our superintendent to say, what are we going to do about this? What are your suggestions? Go on, collaborate with your staff. So we're working diligently. We're not doing the work. This gentleman and his staff are doing the work, but we're kind of like overseeing it because this is our single employee right here. He's the one that works for us, representing everybody in the district. So we're working hard. COVID is a huge challenge. When I visit the other districts in my officiating capacity at Cal State Bakersfield, and I see all the challenges they have at the other campuses, the mask wearing and all these things that they have to do, it's a great teaching opportunity for these young people. How can I be a part of the resolution if I can help mitigate this problem on my campus, in my classroom, on my team? What can I do? Teachers teach, they model, they mentor, they do all these things. They do these things with the interests of the students first, not because they're going to make a lot of money, because they're not. They'll have a great rewarding career, they'll be richer than money can buy, but it will be because they have a passion for what they do, and that's what we appreciate. That's what I did for 18 years. I was sad when I retired, and I regretted it for a year and a half after I did it. Now I'm kind of used to it. I get to stay up late and sleep in, so it's not so bad. But I still wear the mask, and I still teach, and I still mentor. Every time I see one of my students out in the community, when I see them in a volleyball game, will you mask up? That's okay. You're doing fine. Appreciate your help. I encourage them to participate in the mitigation so that by spring or by next fall, we don't have these things on our face. And we can have our schedules and all that stuff. You're the athletic director as well, a key element, one that I did many, many years, and I know the full challenges that you face. And I want to compliment you on the work, and I want to encourage you to keep pushing the envelope, doing what's in the best interest of your program and your department for all sports. Scheduling, rescheduling it. COVID's presented you with a plethora of challenges that, oh my goodness, beyond your teaching capacity, and unfortunately, Aadusd second, they're third down the road. Your teacher first, your athletic director, your coach, then you get to have them. And you have to tell your teacher, colleague, okay, hold on, I got things to do. Your students come first, and you work with that, and you do everything that's in their best interest, showing them how to wear a mask, encouraging them to mitigate, stay apart, let's work together, let's get this thing behind us. Because you have one of the biggest elective departments on the high school that is a driver of increased ADA. If you have a successful athletic program, we're going to get 25, 30 students coming back to Vasquez, because they can get a substantial academic education and they get to participate in the sport of their choice. So the challenge on you is build that program so everybody wants to be a part of the program, just like you do for your baseball. I run my baseball program so all the boys want to come out and play baseball and I have to turn them away. When we start turning kids away because our athletic programs are full, kudos to you, you're going to get a big raise because you're doing your job really, really well. It's a challenge to build that tradition. Now Mrs. Leff with that ASB, the second biggest elected program on the campus, because it involves all the culture and the traditions of the campus. Make it a campus where kids want to come to. She's got the energy, she's got the intuition, she's got the drive, she's got the passion, just like you do for athletics, she has for ASB. And I think the two of you working in tandem is going to be a winning, 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 winning combination for school. It takes time to get in place, we understand that, but we can't let the ball down. We have to continue to move forward with that. So I appreciate that. Make sure that all of the teachers and all the campuses know that this board appreciates that. And we hesitate not once to acknowledge their achievements. Not once do we hesitate to recognize that, because that's what they need. That's what we can do right now without any hesitation, without any bureaucracy or all the diplomacy that's got to go on. We can say, thank you, Mr. Sparks, thank you, Ms. Van Ornum, and we can recognize them on the spot. Just like you do with your students when they turn in a good paper, or when the student does well after you discipline them, get back on the campus and pick up a good paper. All those things you do as an educator, the professional that you are the things that matter right now during this COVID challenge. It's what we adults do to help the young people get beyond this. Don't be afraid of it. It's a teaching moment, it's a science moment, it's a health careers moment. There's a lot of things we can teach these kids to help us bridge this confusion and this challenge that we have. We adults talk and we support our kids. So thank you again on that. I'm sorry about that, because you're in a position that is envious in many things. When everything's going great, everybody wants to do it. When things are challenging, nobody wants to do it. So we compliment you for taking that on. We've talked about the active board. We've already done that real well. And I understand that Ms. Walters, I understand that there's challenges with the district. I had challenges with the district when I was teaching. They don't understand what's going on at the sites. And we have many, many years of a lot of challenges. And we've worked and worked and worked. And we have one old person on the board that was there then that's here now, and he's still providing us with guidance. And I'm not even going to look to my left because I know he's looking at me. So the point being is that this board is now active, and we appreciate the concern and the observations that our community brings to the counter here in whatever manner they will, as long as it's respectful, to let us know what they hear and what's going on in the community. I've lived here for 18, 19 years. I love the community because it's like my old Saugus where I grew up, and it's that kind of community. I love the aspect of being in a small school because this community can support a small school district if we work together to make sure. But you know, for senior citizens, I think Dr. Sahaki is going to put together a newsletter because of the absence in part of the Country Journal that can go out, and we can make that available so people, I like to read stuff. I don't want to see it on the internet. I want to have it in my hand where I can take notes and read. So I understand that, and I'm sure that Dr. Sahaki has that. We have to put fires to his wheels are turning all the time, and we don't ever let him set up. So I appreciate your comments on that. The last day, football homecoming, I was sad. I was ready to get in the truck when I got notice that football was canceled. So that's another thing. I'm glad that 2.0 is coming around, and we're going to have that opportunity for those students to make sure that that's a big deal with a lot of stuff to make sure that they know that they sacrifice, and we're going to help them out get back on board and with all the programs. So I'll wrap it up because all the challenges that we face, everybody understands it. There's not one person on this board that doesn't understand it. It doesn't feel it in many different ways. So make sure that if there's doubts in your mind, bring it to our attention, because I take notes every time somebody makes a comment, and I sit and I read and I think, and then I interact with my colleagues and I interact with Dr. Zahaki, and I talk to him on occasion when I think it's important. When it's not, I know he's got it handled. I don't have to worry about it. I know that we've hired a good gentleman that's going to be the team leader for this district going forward, and I think as we give him time, and we'll put the stopwatch on him, that things will get done, and we'll have a much better future as we get past this COVID. So thank everybody for that, and make sure that we move forward. Make sure this is a teaching moment for all of our students so that we can get past this. Thank you.
I think I'm going to make my comments kind of short this evening. But Mrs. Walter, I just want to tell you and share my condolences with you, because I remember you would always come and bring your husband, and I remember that we had that late meeting, and you stuck it out as long as you could, and you had to take him home. So when I saw you here last week, I was wondering what happened to your sweet husband. So my condolences to you that you've been through so much. So I just want to share that with you. I'd like to welcome Haley Red this evening, and I've known Haley since she was born, I believe. And so it's interesting because Haley is somewhat quiet, but she does not have any problem sharing what she thinks. So don't let her shy or kind of quiet demeanor fool you. She has some very strong opinions about what she would like in her high school principal. She shared with me a week ago. So I'd like you to talk to Haley about personally, as our school board rep, what she would like to see in the principal. So please talk to her about that. I did visit the high school at 913 when we had started with our Dr. Chamberlain there. It was important that we see what's going on in our school staff. So we, Mrs. Shaw and Dr. Sahaki and myself walked the campus a little bit, and we did meet her. I was very impressed with my first impression of her, and I hope that she's supporting your staff. And thank you, Mr. Sparks, for letting me visit your classroom. You just kept going, which is what we do when people visit classrooms, so I appreciate that. We do hear you about the staffing shortage. This is nothing new to Acton, and I think sometimes we all have to make sure that we do our homework, and sometimes we think things are happening just at a local level, and it's not just the state of California. Actually, it's more than just California that's suffering the shortage of employees and suffering with substitute teachers, and it's not an easy task. And so teaching is not what people think it is. You have to be an educator to understand the culture. Some people think we have summers off. We read books and we get home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so those of us that are educators know that's a big joke. That we don't do it for the money, you just have to love it, and if you don't love it, we don't want you in our profession. So So thank you for all you do, and I please express to the staff, including our classified staff that's not here this evening, the rep is not here, so if you could please share with them that we do appreciate them for all that they do. We do know that you're working really hard, and we do know you care about our students. So thank you. And yes, I'm going to agree with Brianna and tell you, yes, toot their horns as much as you would like. Toot away, because we love our teachers, we love our staff and our classified and all of our employees. We have cafeteria people working really hard, and they're short staffed as well, so, and they feed our children, so it's all very, very important. Counseling a high school game for high school students is not easy. I'm sorry you had to put up with all of that. It was not an easy decision by any means. If you've had teenagers, or you currently have teenagers, they live for those things. They look forward to it. They've gone out and they planned and bought dresses. And when I went to the school in 913, I thought to myself, I asked Dr. Softy, what is going on? What are these kids wearing? Because I'm like, why are they wearing these matching pajamas and stuff? And then I realized it was twin day. So, you know, teenagers can sometimes wear some strange things, but I was happy to know it was twin day. That I was like, what is going on here? So that was really fun to watch, and I realized you were having your spirit week. So thank you for that. So with that, and then tomorrow I will be, I just want to give a shout out to Nicole Chun. Tomorrow we will be attending the Teacher of the Year banquet. So we will be, I'm fortunate to be able to go to that and celebrate Nicole Chun for tomorrow. So I want to make sure that we recognize her and all of her efforts. And she did an incredible job when we were going through COVID, and she continues to do some innovative things for our district. And I know the PD has gone well, and that you guys, and it's not just her, it's a team, I realize that. But tonight I just want to recognize and give the kudos to her. So I don't know if Nicole's on, but if you're on, Nicole, I'm looking forward to tomorrow and celebrating all that you've done in representing our teachers here in the district and our school district, so I appreciate that. That's all I'm going to really share this evening. I just know that I think somebody brought up a good point tonight. We have not been in person. This is our second meeting that we've had. It's hard to know what's going on. I don't know if it's just me, but I think it's not just me, it's other people. It's like, where did time go? I think things happened like, you know, like a year ago, and it really happened like a year and a half ago, and I think it's, you know, so I just think sort of like time has just kind of slipped away with everything that's going on, and not having our routines, and that's really difficult. And so when you come back to school and you're doing all these things, you're not in your normal routine, it's really tough. And it's really hard to be an athletic director anyway, and then to go through all this. I appreciate all that you do for our district. And thank you, Michelle, for all that you do for our district, and happy to have you back. And that was rough when you were starting the school year, so you hung in there. Obviously, you have a well-oiled machine over there because things were going well, so thank you for doing that. And I'm always thrilled to hear kids are playing sports. Mr. Jurgen and I, that's when we met. We were very passionate about sports. I think it's very important. It's what connects kids to their community, making friends, learning to play as a team. There's a lot to be, as you know, as professionals, if you can't play as a team member, it's really hard to work with people. So they're not just learning and enjoying sports, but they're learning how to really be a team player. So I think that's important. So Haley, thanks for doing all the sports that you're doing. 3 of them, you said, so good for you, and I appreciate you representing our district as well. So that's all I have this evening. I know that we can work together, and this is a great district, there's no doubt. And so I'm going to give the kudos. I have the mic now, and I can say that we do have a great district, and I can say that because I know what good teaching looks like, and I know what good education looks like, and so I know that's happening here. So that's all I have this evening. All right, so we have the 8A approval of the consent items. We have items 8A through 8B as submitted. Can I get a motion? Any comments? Let's call for the vote.
Paul's Graff, aye.
Rena Texani, aye.
Chad Walker, back.
Tim Jordan said aye.
Kelly Jones, aye. 5-0, motion carries.
President Jensen?
Yes.
Can we have the student rep released when she would like to be released.